this is probably what you would call close to close. It's going to be an absolute banger of a fight. Like I said, either fighter could dominate. It's going to be a fun fight overnight. What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's video, y'all, we are predicting next week's main event live in Australia for the IBF welterweight title of the world. Lewis Crocker versus Liam Paro. Now listen, this fight is 50-50. And this is probably going to be one of the close fights of the year. Could be the best fight of the year. But before we get any further into the video, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Hit that notifications, share my videos with friends and family. Comment down below, who do you guys think wins this main event between Lewis Crocker and Liam Paro? I know it's a 50-50 fight. It's a legit pick'em main event fight, and it's going to be a very good fight. But now, let's get into the video. So, Lewis Crocker, Liam Paro, like I said, it's going to be one of the closest fights of the year. But let's go over these styles of both fighters and some comparisons I've kind of seen from both fighters. Let's start off with Lewis Crocker. Lewis Crocker has a high volume punching pace with strong conditioning. He has some of the best conditioning in the 147 division today. He's always in these fun fights that, you never just kind of see him, oh man, this girl had kind of this boring fight. He has consistently pressured the force of his opponents. Sometimes it's hard to match the pace of his opponents. He may not have the hardest punches, but he's definitely going to pack a buttload of punches at you. And just depending on who you are, you have to have the right timing to dodge some of those punches, because there's certain people who, get overwhelmed by Lewis Crocker's punching power, and they just get overwhelmed. Obviously, they get knocked out, or they just get beat on for how many rounds there is. And now, one more thing that I've seen from Lewis Crocker is that he has some very good, nasty body work as well, especially those hooks that he be throwing to the body. Those are nasty. I'm kind of surprised on how many people actually survive those body shots that he be landing sometimes. He lands a lot of those, man. Head body shots, consistently pressuring at you. Some weaknesses I've kind of seen is that he can be hit while coming forward, because like I said, he relies on fighting on the inside. So that's where, it kind of makes it difficult depending on who reacts very fast. He also relies on defense more than toughness more than, slick head movement. He has good head movement. He just relies on blocking defense a lot. Kind of like what I said in my last video, video before with Antonio Vargas. It's the same thing with, Lewis Crocker. Lewis Crocker has good footwork, does move around kind of nice sometimes here and there. But, sometimes he can just rely on that defense, and, he kind of, his hands, you kind of see him, his hands start to hurt a little more, and he starts throwing a little less. That's a thing that kind of concerns me coming into this fight with Liam Paro. And now he also in the division sometimes leaves opponents to land sharp counter punches. If you guys never seen Lewis Crocker fighting, you go look up his fights, you guys would be surprised on how many counter shots this man absolutely takes. But two comparisons I kind of say that I see from Lewis Crocker is, number one is definitely a young version of Sean Porter. Sean Porter back then was definitely, when he was younger, was definitely very explosive, like how Lewis Crocker is now. And he also kind of reminds me of Josh. It also mixed with Josh Kelly's elite head movement. If you guys don't know who Josh Kelly is, he's the current IBF super welterweight champion who just won the title back in January. So yeah, those are two fighters that he kind of reminds me of. So now, the style of Liam Paro is that he is a very sharp southpaw. He has a very sharp southpaw jab and straight. That that straight. That jab and straight both combined is very good, and that's one thing that can help him definitely win this fight with Lewis Crocker. That could definitely have him control the pace throughout the fight. He also has elite timing and counter punching abilities. He's a very good, sometimes people kind of underestimate his counter-punching abilities. He also is a very smart fighter with very good fight IQ. That comes with it. He has very good timing, good fight IQ. But now, some weaknesses I kind of say is that he can sometimes fight at a measured pace, allowing aggressive opponents to steal rounds throughout the fights, and that kind of concerns me. And he also is not a one-punch he's not a knockout artist. Neither is Lewis Crocker. But if I was to say who's most likely to win this fight by knockout, is most likely Lewis Crocker. I think Lewis Crocker does pack a more of a punch than, Liam Paro. But two fighters I could say that kind of reminds me of Liam Paro is definitely Michael Nunn. Just the style in general, he kind of reminds you of old Michael Nunn. Then he also kind of reminds you of Arislandi Lara, especially in that southpaw stance, young, prime Arislandi Lara. But now, does this fight go the distance? I think so. But are they going to get a lot of brain damage from this fight? They're probably going to get damage a lot in this fight. It's going to be a brutal night, and that's the one thing that concerns me, because Liam Paro, he's in these close fights, but he's not consistently brawling sometimes. And that's what concerns me. Like I said, he sometimes, he lets the aggressive fighters throughout the fight get the best of him. We've seen that in his fight with Richardson Hitchens, saw that in his fight with Surreal Matias. So it's not like, I think, Lewis Crocker definitely packs more of a punch than, Surreal Matias and Richardson Hitchens. We can say Matias definitely has the more knockout punches, obviously, but, in general, I feel like, Lewis Crocker definitely just throws a lot consistently, and that could definitely be a concern. But I feel like a style that could definitely beat Lewis Crocker is a guy with an elite jab, disciplined boxer, and good footwork. And that's exactly what Liam Paro has. But now, do I see any of these fighters dominating? I can see definitely both of them dominating this fight. The way I see Liam Paro could dominate is definitely, using that jab to stay on the outside, definitely move around the entire ring, the ring a lot, jab, footwork, just keeping them off you, kind of like a remake of Jaya Butaya versus Brandon Glanton. Lewis Crocker, I feel like his way of dominating is definitely just landing, going on the inside. Going on the inside, probably grabbing him, getting on the inside, and just start throwing a buttload of combinations at him. But that could possibly get him tired. Who I think most likely would get tired in this fight is definitely Lewis Crocker, because he just throws so much. And I do think that he will. So if Liam Paro definitely knocks out Lewis Crocker, I would be surprised, because he's not consistently knocking you out left and right. But guys, this is probably what you would call close to close. It's going to be an absolute banger of a fight. Like I said, either fighter could dominate. It's going to be a fun fight overnight, and I'm kind of in a mix on who do I pick for this fight. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to pick Liam Paro. I think, he's going to keep him off him throughout that fight with that jab, land that straight, land a few combinations. I could see Liam Paro dominating, but I think he wins a split or just a very close decision. But now, that will be the end of the video, y'all. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button. Turn on notifications when you guys want to see when I upload. Comment down below who do you guys got winning between Lewis Crocker and Liam Paro, and does Liam Paro become a two-time Division World Champion? We won't know. We will have to find out next week, June 24th. Let's get it. I'll see you on the next one. I'm out. Peace.